come flooding back for a lot of us. It's amazing, even to New Orleanians, how big a part of this area flooded and how fast.
At 4:30 in the morning, an hour and a half before Katrina made landfall, the first two breaches occurred in the levee system down at the CSX Railroad on either side of the Industrial Canal. That's the bridge in the distance, initiating the flooding of Greater New Orleans. St. Bernard Parish experienced the worst flooding at 5:30 in the morning. Watch how that front of water just shoots in. This flooded in the space of 3 hours.
The water came from the intersection of the Intercoastal Waterway and Mr. Go, and it came down here and into the Industrial Canal and then over the top of the flood wall in the Industrial Canal and into the lower Ninth Ward.
At 6:30 a.m., a large section of the 17th Street Canal flood wall began breaching, a process that continued for the next 2 hours. It literally slid 60 feet backwards and collapsed.
As a result, a 10-foot wall of water was shot into the city, destroying many of the houses in the immediate vicinity of the breach. At 7:45 in the morning, just as the surge was peaking in this canal, two massive breaches occurred in the flood wall behind me, sending an 18-foot high wall of water into the lower Ninth Ward.
It was instantaneous. The water came in there, it piled up, it got so high it came over the top, it carved this gap behind the flood wall along the Industrial Canal, and eventually wound up shoving it aside like a battalion of bulldozers.
Totally destroying the first 5 rows of homes, and even some homes 9 blocks back were floated off their foundations. It's here that we had the greatest number of people killed due to drowning during Katrina. At 8:15 a.m., the embankment at the foot of the Orleans Canal is overtopped and floods City Park for about 3 hours.
At 8:30, a 1-mile stretch of levee behind the lakefront airport that's 2 feet lower than the adjacent earthen levee is overtopped with surge coming from Lake Pontchartrain. The flooding lasts for about 3 hours.
At 9 a.m., the storm surge from Lake Pontchartrain peaks in the 3 drainage canals in the Orleans Metro Bowl with no overtopping of the lakefront levees. At 9:30 a.m., the breach here in the London Avenue at Mirabeau occurred. You can see it's marked here by the white rocks. The flood wall fell into a huge hole that had been scoured out behind it, sending a wall of water about 12 foot high into the homes, totally destroying the first line of homes and adding to the catastrophic flooding of this part of Greater New Orleans.
The London Avenue Canal breached and the entire neighborhood flooded, between 11 and 13 feet of water.
That straight ahead is the London Outfall Canal. Over there is the greatest break of the levee. Now, there's a huge chunk of concrete. You can imagine a force that blew away concrete. If we had to go downstairs to that front door to try to get out, I can't swim a lick.
At 10:30 in the morning, the last of the major breaches in the New Orleans levee system occurred here, this area that's marked by the white rocks and the shiny new wall. And these floodwaters then flowed into the areas that were already flooding from the 17th Street Canal, ensuring the total devastation of this portion of New Orleans. You can see how these fronts of water just expand and join up with each other. Now, what's very important is there's some natural ridges in the city, and that held up the water from coming into the main downtown area until the late afternoon. Now you will see the water really starts to run, and that's when we were hearing about whitewater rapids on the street. So this model run here just shows you how we sunk Orleans Parish, a large part of New Orleans, in 24 hours.